Season 4, episode 3. I mean, crazy episode. Honestly, we'll get right into it. Connor's Wedding was the title of the episode, and it's funny because last week when we were talking, we were like, oh, I can't wait for this episode. Like, it's going to be funny. Connor's Wedding. We're going to have Logan and Roman meet with Matsson.
I knew it was going to be a cluster, whatever it was.
Right, because the weddings always are.
Yeah.
Though this one takes a complete 180, and we see spoilers, obviously, if you're
obvious
watching
spoilers. If you haven't heard about this yet, because it's everywhere.
Right. Logan's dead. Logan,
I can't say it.
Logan died.
So sad.
Yeah, man.
I'm so sad, dude.
Yeah, in the third season, the third episode of this season, Logan's out.
Yeah.
Totally surprising moment. I think, it's interesting because when we talked about the premiere of this season, we asked the question, do we think Logan is going to survive?
Right.
We both said he would die.
Yep.
And I think you had brought up that what if they do it like in the middle of the season, which they kind of did, though this is earlier than I think either of us would have expected them to do it. Watching the inside the episode after, them explaining their reasoning behind why they did it, why they didn't show him, the whole idea about how you experience death in the 21st century with phones and all that stuff. Like, I thought it was so, to quote Matt, it was brilliant how they did it. Everything about this episode was great. I think the performances were amazing, and I think that, honestly, it might be one of the best episodes of TV ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
And that's coming from me, Mr. Sopranos guy, all day long. Like, this is their magnum opus Succession episode right here. Yeah.
From everywhere. The writing, the acting, everything.
Yeah. No, yeah,
you're speechless. You really,
I've watched the episode 3 times. Mm-hmm. So really quick, let's
talk about what led to this moment here.
So first of all, this is, I think, the first season of, I could be wrong. So far this season, we've did episode 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. And it was day 1, 2, and 3. So like the when they were doing karaoke and everything, it was the night before this. Like, everything was one day at a time. Yeah. So it was the first 3 days. There is a bit of a time jump between the end of season 3 and this, but this is, so far, even though for us it's week to week, for them it's one day, 2 day, 3 day. Right. So it's so interesting because you fall in love in a familial way. Not like, obviously nobody wants to get with Logan except Carrie. Which we got to talk about Carrie. I took some notes too, but I talked about this last week, and I'm sure every week since we've been reviewing it, like I kind of related to Logan. He reminds me of my grandfather. There's a lot of I feel like he's super misunderstood. Like, I just love the guy. I loved him. And was he psychotic? 100%. Yeah. Narcissistic? 100%. I loved him, though, because I felt like I understood him. And there was a part of me in the moment when Tom calls Shiv. This is how, like, out of the blue it was for me. Mm-hmm. He calls Siobhan twice, and she doesn't answer the phone. Yeah. And then he calls Roman. And I still didn't think there was something wrong. Yeah. I thought Siobhan was just pissed off and didn't want to talk to him. Right. And I thought they were fucking with us. When he said Logan's 100%. Very sick, I thought he was going to say sick and tired of the fact that you haven't fired Jerry yet. I thought he was going to come back with
they don't show him. You know what I'm saying? So at first you're like, is he fucking around? Like,
so I did watch. They offer this the first time I've ever done it, but I thought this was such a brilliant. This was a moment. Everybody talks about Sopranos Pine Barrens, that episode. Yeah. Really not a big fan of that episode, by the way. Okay. It's like, okay. It's not bad. From a story standpoint, there's a lot that goes into Pine Barrens that's like, I'm sure they talk about it in college, the writing and the visual, whatever the fuck. Just from a regular viewer standpoint, this was probably one of the best episodes of television in history of television, and for multiple reasons. But I think that we were at the wedding. We were one of the children. You know what I mean? We were right there going, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? For the first time ever, I watch or listen to the podcast that HBO offers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I listened to and it was the interview with the show creator, the director, and Brian Cox that played Logan.
Yeah.
And they were like, we didn't shoot any of Logan because, you know, there's like one shot of him from the top of the head down, which I thought was very interesting from a visual standpoint, because normally when you think of a dead person, it's from the foot because the toe tag or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it was from the foot kind of laying down position. Nope, this was from the top down because the foam was next to the ear and everything. They said, or the Mila, the director there, he said it was he felt it would be disrespectful to Logan of the character to film him. You know what I mean? Laying on the ground.
Well, I think even further than that, to show a scene of him like collapsing in the bathroom, I feel like it would have hit so much differently.
Well, so that's what they were saying, and I feel like that's what makes it so brilliant. When you think of a main character, if there's ever a main character death in a movie, whether they're a supervillain, superhero, Uncle Ben in Spider-Man, you know, or in that same movie, Green Goblin kind of deal where it gets, you know, the idea of seeing a character's death is being grandiose and, you know, this big moment or whatever it is what we're used to. And to kind of leave us at Connor's wedding as the viewer and just kind of play by play, go through the motions of like, I mean, everything that I had planned to go, like going into that episode of like what happens with Gojo, what happens with all this, it's like a real death. Everything stops.
Yeah.
Everything is halted, and you go, holy shit, we were wrong. And it like, we don't know. What do we do? What do we do? I felt like, what do I do? And it's a show. That's fantastic writing.
It felt
was
super real. And I think it's such a perfect thing for the show to do it like this, because I think the whole show has obviously been about who's going to succeed Logan, and everyone's been trying to plan it out. Nothing gets planned, and then he dies. And now I think, you know, this is talking more about what's going to happen going forward, is like, they haven't established anything. If it's just as uncertain as it was in season 1. You know what I'm saying? And now he's dead, so he can't even choose. And the kids are no longer protected, too, you know, going forward, because Logan is gone.
I'm pulling up my notes, but I'm listening.
So I think that's why this was such a good decision to kill him off like this and not have him. I mean, listen, you know, they've made him kind of like an immortal character through the first few seasons. You know, it's like, can he even die? Like and now looking back, like when he's talking with the driver about, like, do you think there's anything after this? Like,
and then at the end of this episode, the driver's waiting for him.
That was such a great shot. That was a great moment. That actor, what a performance. You could see it.
Oh, yeah. Every single person in the show. Yeah. Dude, I know people hate when I say it. I really couldn't care less. I got, like, every hair on my head, body, everything was just on end the entire time. And Tom is so brilliant. Well, it's when he like the fact that that he has to be strong for Siobhan.
Yeah.
And he talks to Greg on the phone. He says, I'm not okay. I can't do it. He says, I'm not okay. Like, it was so fucking good.
I know.
It was so fucking good, dude. This is so good. This is so good.
No, it was incredible. I mean, just like, again, all the performances. That's what makes it so real. And the fact that, you know, they had talked about inside the episode too about how they shot it. Oh, with the planning film around the set.
Because they shoot on film.
Yeah, so they could keep, which I didn't know, which they could keep going around and, like, not wasting time, like, keeping those actors have an emotional thing. And then even Connor's actor, I forget his name, said, you know, when Siobhan comes up to him and the faces she made, like, he doesn't need to act.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, but let's talk about it, because like 10 minutes into the show,
whirlwind of shit.
It is.
Like, can we just like?
But like, not much happened in this episode other than him dying. So I feel like
I do
it's
have
really
some
bad.
notes, and they are in order of the way the episode.
Okay,
progressed.
yeah.
Okay,
sure.
so the first note that I have, it's a bullshit note, but it's Logan starts the episode. He's in the car, right, on the way to the airport. And he wears his sunglasses in the car on the car ride. And when he gets out and talks to Tom, he takes his sunglasses off, which I thought was weird. I just thought that was a kind of a weird kind of moment for him. what's it called? In the car though, he asks Roman to fire Jerry.
Okay.
And I thought that's been kind of leading up in episode 1 of this season. I think it was or maybe it was episode 2. He says, everybody, we're going blah, 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 but not Jerry. Jerry's not coming.
I think it was last episode.
Yeah. There's been a distancing of Jerry ever since she took over as CEO for that interim kind of minute. And I feel like every time someone actually even came close to being CEO, Logan killed them in a metaphorical way, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting. And then he says, he tells Tom to follow up with Roman to make sure that she gets fired or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when he's explaining to Carolina, who is that secretary lady who's always with Logan, that's not Carrie. Mm-hmm. She's the one that says she's going to make the draft of the statement, right? She's one who I think is really, really good too. She's always right by Logan's side. Amazing. When Logan says to her, here's what's happening. Okay, this lady's getting fired from ATN. Mm-hmm. Jerry's out too or whatever. And Tom has a line. He says, I think the idea would be that she took her eye off the ball, which I think it's a reference to the pictures that Roman was sending Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was funny. Just you can see it in Tom's face just for a second.
Yeah.
Because there's so much talk about those pictures, which I think will play into this season more. How'd you feel about Roman firing Jerry like that?
How he did it?
Just that moment with Jerry's reaction, everything. Like, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting because their relationship has kind of been, it's definitely a weird relationship, but they've been in a weird way close. You know what
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, Roman's kind of an awkward guy when it comes to doing things.
She ends
like
it by saying, "This is nothing. I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm good."
Well,
totally cold.
I mean, that's a good point though. About if she's out now, you got to wonder, she said in the past she wouldn't make a big deal about the pictures, but I wonder now, will she?
Well, so here's the thing. She's a board member, though. So there's so many levels to this shit. Mm-hmm. He said it was unofficial. This is what's coming down the pipeline. Be ready for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they have to send all the shit to legal, bro. Then they got to send all this paper. She's a fucking board member. Okay. Yeah. This is a big deal. She's not fired, though. Immediately after Logan's death is announced, whatever it is, she's right back into her position, talking to Carolina on the phone, doing all this stuff. She didn't get fired yet. And so because she didn't get fired yet, she never got fired.
Yeah.
But then there's that awkward tension throughout the rest of the episode between her and
Roman.
Roman.
She was going to get fired. Yeah.
She knows that everybody knows, too, because everybody knows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's got to be awkward. What's it called? I said she was just very strong. She knew immediately. Roman didn't actually say anything. She just kind of interpreted his eyes and was like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Can we talk about Looney Cake? I thought Looney Cake was interesting. You love this. I wrote it down because I thought of you.
Oh, the Looney Cake. Oh,
because it references Connor's mom.
Yes.
And that not showing but knowing about the Go. Say something about it. Yeah.
No, I
thought of it because of you.
Yeah, I forgot that happened. Yeah, again, it was like it was a little
the whole episode.
Again, it was those little things where they don't go deep into it, and they gave a little bit of an explanation there.
Yeah, but we didn't have a whole episode dedicated to Connor's mom about it. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I think is good.
Yeah.
I think Connor in this whole episode was great. I mean, he's been great. We talked about him last episode with that speech he had. And I think, watching that whole, I don't know if you felt the same way, but watching Kendall, Roman, and Shiv on the phone, I was sitting there the whole time like, where's Connor?
He's getting married. It's his wedding. Nobody's told him yet. And he's trying to be president.
But they should have gotten him.
But, so I wrote down.
That's what I'm saying, is they didn't think of him.
I wrote down what everyone said to the first line. Yeah. I wrote, the first line of each person, what they said in Logan's ear when Tom said, I'm putting you down there, whatever, right? So Kendall, first of all, this was, I don't know. They say this about every show, but you have everybody represents something a little bit different, and that's how people can relate to a certain character or whatever. Who did you relate in a crisis mode? Because this is a crisis mode. Which character do you say that you would be most like in this? If something like this happens in your life, which character would you act most like? And I actually don't like the one that I'm picking for myself. I hate this character, but it was me 100% how I go into in crisis mode.
I want to say maybe Roman, but I'm trying to think of how Kendall reacted because I don't remember exactly. Are you going to say Kendall?
Well, yeah, I was going to say I really am not a fan of Kendall. I think he's a wicked narcissist. I think he's a big baby. But when he said this line, I went, "Oh, that's me." He said he's talking to Frank and what's the other guy's name there? The big dope, not
Carl.
Tom. Yeah, Carl. Right? He's talking to them, and he goes, "Who?" Roman's got the phone, and Kendall's going like this. He goes, "Who is medically competent there?" That's me, dude, all day long. Like just when he calls his that girl that's always with him. Whatever,
talking about getting the doctors.
And, he goes, "Okay, listen, my dad's dying. I'm gonna do facts only." I love those lines. Like I just thought that was so straightforward. It's totally me in a cry. There's no time for bullshit. Whenever I've had friends who've called me with problems and they're crying, the first thing out of my mouth is "Shut up! I don't know what you're saying." Call me. Like I'll help, but tell me when I can interpret it. 100%. Which maybe that's right. Maybe I'm an asshole. I don't know. But like the just the way that was that each character was a little bit different. I thought Siobhan was crazy. Yeah, dude. I was shocked.
Oh, she was amazing.
She was a brilliant performance, but she said when she gets on the phone with her dying father or potentially already dead father, she goes, "I can't have this," and I thought that was like.
She said that?
I was like, that's so narcissistic. I was like, that's shocking,
well, she has been narcissistic.
Well, they all are. Yeah. They all are. But
I think her in particular is like way more self-centered about things. You know what I'm saying?
She said, yeah. She goes, she's like, you can't. And then, yes, 100%. 100%. I think Roman was the one that was most emotionally attached to Logan.
Yes.
And Kendall even says, I can't forgive you. When he's talking in the ear of his dead dad, on the plane, which I thought was they're just in a way. Is it sad? Yes, your father died, right?
Yeah.
So you put that emotional perspective on it, but in a way, they all kind of threw a tantrum. I got the vibe from all three kids at one point throughout the scene or another. I got the vibe of like, so who's going to send the helicopter for us now? Like who takes care of that? Who's gonna wipe our ass now?
Yep.
Where's the handhold? Where's the And it was I feel like an idiot. This makes me feel fucking stupid because I feel like I have so much I want to say and I can't. I just don't know what to say. This is really well done, man. This is really fucking well done. We have some pictures. Can we go through these pictures?
Let's go through them.
So this is the Tom and see, he gets out of the car, he takes his sunglasses off.
Yeah. But maybe he did that because he was talking to Tom. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't want to.
Sure. I'm just saying, like the whole ride over, they had these sunglasses on. He gets out of the car in the bright sunlight and he's squinting. He takes his sunglasses off. I thought it was weird.
Yep.
And then obviously the firing of Jerry.
Yep.
This next one that you put in the thing, I thought was really, really good. You want to talk about this?
Oh yes, yeah.
Go.
Because I think Connor's arc in this whole show, as we talked about last time, has been he feels like he wasn't loved. He's always left out of that group. You know, he is the eldest son of Logan, but he's kind of been dismissed. And he's been doing things trying to get his attention. And I think that this was really the breaking point is when Logan didn't go to his wedding, his own son's wedding.
Yeah.
And
well, the intention, I was going to say he's dead, but the intention also wasn't
But
there.
he wasn't going.
Right.
Right. And I think at this point, Connor's pretty numb. I mean, he's obviously sad that his dad's dead, but like at this point, he's like, why am I going to care so much about it now? I've been living my life without love, like he said in the last episode, for a while now. Why am I going to keep? So he just has the wedding, and I think it was a good move. And I think it was that last shot of them getting married was sad because like no one was there, but I think it was a happy moment for him because he did what was important to him in that moment.
It's definitely a moment of growth, I would say. I loved this scene in particular because this was a huge moment. This is a huge moment of like, I mean, he literally said flat out, "Are you with me just for money?" I mean, what a great moment. What a great moment. Because you know that's something that everyone's been saying, right?
Yeah.
And he would never broach that subject because what if she walks away?
Yeah.
You know? And I thought it was brilliantly acted on both parts. I thought Willow was fantastic in this episode.
Great, yeah.
I love the fact that she was honest. I think that there is an aspect, and I'm not married and I wouldn't know, you know what I mean? But I think that there is, nobody's perfect. right? So I feel like there's this ideology today, especially among young people, and the divorce rates are so high and blah, 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 blah. But I think that there's this ideology of like, you're going to get married to someone and just be happy forever. And bro, that's not what marriage is.
Yeah.
It is like, there's a reason they call it a partnership. Like, you have to work. You know, you're going to go through hard times with one person for 50 years plus whatever. Like, you're going to go through some hard shit.
Yeah.
And I think that this is probably going to be a better relationship. Hear me out. Better than Tom and Siobhan. You know what I mean? Logan had 4 fucking wives or whatever it was before he died. You have all these people, but this is they're honest.
Because they know the terms.
They get it. They get she wants money. You know what I mean? She's going to hang out. And he wants someone who's just going to be there.
And I think, you know, to think of something that parallels this is Connor brought this question forward before they got married versus Shiv marrying Tom and then saying, I want an open relationship right after the wedding.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It just shows,
it's fucking healthy. It's the weirdest thing to say because she's a hooker. Like, she's a stripper or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's a weird moment. I think Willa is a very underrated character in this series, and I think that we've seen an arc even for her, which is bizarre because she's so background.
What did you think of
go.
Connor's interaction with her mom?
I love the mom. I love Willa's mom. I think she sees Connor as a cash cow. You know what I mean? And I think that Connor, being a similar age to her mother, I thought they were it was like a way that like growing up, I was really young and my mom watched a lot of old shows like I Love Lucy and all that shit. So whenever I would meet people that were my parents' age or whatever, or older, I'm really good with old people because I listen to Frank Sinatra, I listen to old stuff. So I can bring up those topics and then they feel like we're on the same level. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's an aspect of that. Like they have similar old person jokes, Connor and the mother. You know what I mean? I thought I love the mom. I think she's so cute.
So I read that similarly, but I also read it that she likes him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I feel like
I think she's happy for her daughter because of the money situation. I mean, how could you go wrong? But it would
make more sense as a relationship because they are closer in age and you know, so I don't know. I'm just saying keep an eye on that. I don't think that might.
That's interesting. See, I don't think I get what you're saying. I don't think Connor, if it was Kendall.
Oh, I don't think he's aware of it.
Oh, okay.
If he is.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, no, probably not. But I think that's I did find it a little weird.
Yeah, I just don't think. I think Connor's too dumb to be like an asshole like that. Like I don't think he thinks with his dick like that. Like Kendall or Roman even, like that would be a whole. He'd screw everybody. I think Connor really is looking for. Connor cares more about the way the world perceives him having a young, beautiful wife.
Right.
Than actually.
But let me ask you this, though.
Yeah, what?
Say Connor gets a connection with her, with the mom.
Yep.
And they get together. Wouldn't that, I don't think Willow would have a problem with that because think about it, she's still in the family and she's not married to Connor.
Sure. I don't see
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like.
Do you think Willow loves Connor?
No, because I think she would have said it.
I think she does. I think she does. I think she's afraid to say it because he's older and because of whatever stigmas and whatever bullshit. I think she's dude. It's been years now that they've been together. If she was really that tormented, you know, think about it. It's never been outed that she's cheated. Roman makes jokes, but it's not like it's about fun of Connor. Right. Like she really is always right with Connor all the time. I mean, and that's the like. It's I guess technically it's borderline abusive. Like he has her location and all that other shit.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think he's dumb, but he's not that dumb that he would stay with someone who was cheating.
Yeah. No, so, and he's had moments, as we've seen, where he speaks his mind.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a brat, just like the rest of them.
Yeah.
So, like, he'll say whatever's on his mind, and he doesn't really care whose feelings he hurts along the way. But I think that if she really wanted to get out, I thought she was getting out at the end of the last episode when she was going over the whatever bridge, and he thought she was going to Cuba and all this other bullshit. Yeah. Like, I was like, okay, like she's gone, you know, which honestly wouldn't surprise me because it's Willa. Like, you know, like, all right, see you around.
No, you're right.
You know, this was a really cool growth moment. Like and I love that they laughed. There's such a moment of levity there where she was like, the reason they have this conversation, this scene is because they're canceling the wedding with all the people. That's what they're saying, right? I think we should probably cancel.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances. Dad's dead kind of deal. Probably not a good thing to have a wedding.
Nope.
And which I loved. I just loved the dynamic. And then he asks, you know, are you with me for money or whatever? And she says, yeah, the money definitely makes me comfortable, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great moment. And then she goes, but I'm not walking away. And she goes, especially today. And they laugh and they have this moment of like, gee, thanks. You just stick around my dad's dead. Thanks.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful because that's the kind of shit that's real. It's not just like, oh, this Logan Roy has a stroke on the plane. Because this is the thing. We did see it in episode 1. The end of episode 1, season 1, Logan has the stroke right in front of Shiv and Roman.
Yeah.
And you see the whole thing. You see every
that was because he was he wasn't taking meds.
No, that's when he has a stroke and he goes he has an aneurysm at the end of episode 1.
Oh, yes. Oh, shit. Yeah.
And that's the whole thing that kicks off the show. Yeah. Yep. But we saw that big dramatic moment, right?
Yeah.
This one, we don't see shit.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Right. And that's why you knew it was serious. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I was like, oh, my God. So that was crazy. How'd you feel about Roman's denial of it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to go into every single thing, but like this is such a great piece of cinema here. Mm-hmm. The Roman's reaction specifically to the my dad's not really dead. A doctor hasn't seen him yet. How'd you feel about that kind of stuff?
No, I mean it's realistic, and I think it's the denial aspect of everyone probably in that, because if you're not, it's not tangible, right? You don't see, they can't see him and they can't hear him, so it's like, well, until I have all the facts, like. So I think it was very realistic.
Frank on the phone with Kendall.
Yeah.
He said, Frank, when he said, Frank, put me on with the pilot.
Oh,
and he
my
says
God.
no.
Yeah.
And then he goes, no, Kendall, he can't talk to you right now. And he goes, yes, he can. And Frank slaps the side of the plane or whatever.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep his composure. I think, it's very easy in an emotional kind of headspace to overlook the fact that Frank has known Logan longer than Kendall's been alive.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're trying to screw everybody over. They're friends, okay? No one's trying to screw anybody. You can't talk to the pilot of the plane because he's flying the plane, Kendall. Right. That's why you can't talk to him.
Well, and too, when they're trying to write up the statement and they're all like talking about it, and then Frank's like, listen,
Saint.
Like my friend who I've known for 40 years is 15 feet away from me on the ground. Like, I'm not.
Oh, no, my God. That's the other thing I want to talk to you about, the dichotomy between the pain of losing a loved one and the fact that loved one is worth billions of dollars and is responsible for. I mean, when Roman says at the end, he holds up his phone with the stock prices on it. He goes, there he is. That's Dad. And everything after the moment of death is plummeted to nothing. Oh, what a cool way to visualize that.
Yeah.
There's Dad. Like, that's so crazy.
Yep.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing wrong with the episode. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, it was perfectly done. And I think what's great about it now is, like, we have no idea how this is going to unfold going forward. And I think, listen, it's going to be a loss. You're going to watch the rest of the show, and you're going to be like, I miss Logan's presence. But I think knowing that it is the final season, knowing that we don't have to go 3 more seasons without him, I think that, like, this is going to be like an epilogue almost of these characters just, like, working through the shitstorm and trying to figure out what's going to happen now.
I feel like if we saw him in that bathroom having the stroke, having the heart attack, whatever it is, I feel like we wouldn't miss him as much.
No, and it would have been a different reaction. Because think of, like, I'm trying to picture it, like, they cut from the wedding to that, and it happens. I feel like it would be more like, oh my God, Logan's dying, versus like, oh shit, Logan died. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be more of like a shock factor of like,
because you mentally as the viewer would have time to say goodbye.
Yeah,
and now because they did it this way, no one had time to say goodbye.
No. Yeah.
Even though they said goodbye with the phone on the thing, they didn't say goodbye.
No,
like, that's not the same.
And he wasn't talking. Yeah. So.
What was the last thing? This is why I rewatched all 3 episodes too, because I watched everything. Yeah. The last things that they said to their dad before, the last thing Roman says on the phone when he leaves that message for him, he goes, you're just being a like, are you let me know. Thanks. Bye. Like, I just thought it was so great. Like, and then the immediate reaction after things kind of settle for just a brief moment, Roman has this realization, like, did anybody notice if he checked his messages or whatever? Like, he thinks he might have killed his father by, You know what I mean? By having that moment of like, did he listen to that message? Like, there's so many fucking layers, bro. There's so many little like layers of this show. It makes me gonna have an aneurysm. I think it was cool that they were all together at the end.
Mm-hmm. One real hug. Yeah.
Would you have gone in the plane like Roman?
He went in. Oh yeah, I guess he did. Yeah.
Did you watch the episode?
No, I did. Yeah, but I mean, they didn't show it, but yeah.
Yeah, no. They show him. He says, "I'm going to go in,"
away,
and he asks Kendall. Another moment of levity. I think it was kind of you need those in a situation when they're going to do the press conference, and finally they have that moment where Kendall says to Roman, like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. You're not going to be okay, but I'll be fine."
Yeah.
And Roman
they go back and forth.
It's just great.
It was good.
It's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on. We've gone on for 30 minutes. I could go on for another hour. I really, there's nothing wrong. There is not a single fucking flaw in this episode and there are flaws. If you look back, I'm sure I could nitpick shit in season 1. I'm sure, you know what I mean? Like certain things don't actually make real business sense about like who can make what decisions where and when and stuff like that. This is, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Seriously.
Oh, it's definitely unique. Yeah.
Where the main head honcho,
like we've seen Ned Stark die at the end of season 1 in Game of Thrones, but like there was build up to that, and it's different.
Yeah, and even though you don't see him get his head cut off, you see him get his head cut off.
Yeah.
Like you have this big moment. You know, it's not like think about it. Every fucking time in Game of Thrones, and this is not even bad. I love Game of Thrones, but every time someone died, whether it's the Red Wedding, whether it's when Cersei blew him up with green hellfire, whatever it was in the church, you see these things coming.
Yes.
You see the guy crawling.
Yeah.
You see all of this shit happening as it happens, and even if it's a surprise in the moment, when Littlefinger pushes that lady through the well and she's falling. They show her falling of time to say goodbye as the viewer mentally. We don't even get to see Logan's face.
No.
You don't get to see shit. You are one of the kids. It was fucking brilliantly done.
Yep. Brilliant.
Oh, man.
Well, let me tell you, it's going to be an interesting rest of this season now.
I know. I'm sorry to go on and on, man.
No. I mean, guys, I hope you enjoyed Succession. If you're watching this and not watching it, I don't know what you're doing, but you should be watching it. But we'll be back next week talking about episode 4 and the episodes without Logan now, which is unless he shows up as a Force Ghost.
Do you not feel you can hear it in your voice? You feel weird saying it.
No, like it is weird. I mean, it's gonna be weird. Yeah,
it's weird.
No doubt. He
just called everybody pirates at the top of his lungs. He was about to take on ATN and rebuild it.
Oh, I know. Then that was such a great last big episode for him too.
I thought that's where this was gonna go. I thought that's where the series was gonna go. If he didn't die, or if he died way later, or whatever, like, this is perfect. It's just perfect.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Question of the day. Let us know what you thought of Succession. All the other news that we talked about today. Movie Mob drops every Friday at 6 p.m. Movie Roulette Mondays at 12 p.m. And Sideline with Matt and Tyler on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Guys, we'll be here next week. We'll see you then. How you doing?